Hello and welcome to another episode of Sus Faction.
Yes, today is an Acela-centric episode with a little dabble from Kyle, I
Yeah.
guess. And I'm your host, Kyle.
And I'm Isella. So this is just kind of adding on to our paranormal inventions little mini series that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're talking about radiating electromagnetic field pods, or more affectionately referred to as REM pods.
Yes. And quick disclaimer, if you hear fuzzing in the background or any noise in the background, it's because my fan is on because it is warm in here. So, sorry about that.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Okay. So REM pods are a popular paranormal investigation tool that detects changes in electromagnetic fields and ambient temperature to identify potential spirit activity. It works by emitting audible tones and colorful LED lights to vary in intensity based on the proximity of an entity, energy, or person that approaches. So, what does that mean? The proximity. So, how close it is to the object itself. So,
Right.
if the spirit is in the room, it'll make one tone or light, and then as it gets closer, the color of the light may change, the tones may change, but that's how it reacts to the
Like the
proximity.
spectrum broadens as it
Yeah.
gets closer.
The device radiates its own magnetic field, and it was created in 2010 by Gary Galka. As it often seems with these ghost hunting tools we have today, they are an improvement on a previous invention, as we mentioned with
Yep.
the spirit box being sort of a updated version of the EVP.
Yeah.
Right? So the REM pod is an updated version of the EMF.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say the EMF detector, correct?
yes, since this is a history podcast, it's important that we, at the very least, provide some history on those that came before. So the EMF detector is a generally smaller, directional, passive tool. And I think that's another thing that has been sort of a theme, is that most of ghost hunting has gone from passive to active.
Yeah.
With the tools and with just the process in general.
Absolutely.
It measures the intensity of electromagnetic fields at a specific point. They read existing ambient electromagnetic energy and generally detect changes at that level. The issue with solely relying on EMF detectors is that other fields emitted from wires can cause interference. Keep that in mind. The intended purpose of the EMF detector was industrial safety and was created by Keith Tupper in central New York during the 1990s. Tupper and his team developed the safe range K11 EMF meter for people to detect electromagnetic fields, which can have negative effects on health.
Oh.
Right? And that starts to like make you think of all the people who say that like ghosts and spirits make them feel sick.
Yeah.
Because they usually will radiate electromagnetic fields or like disturb the fields, right?
Right.
So that kind of like that explains it a little bit, I think,
Absolutely.
as to why they feel sick. In 2011 or 2011, a different kind of market had been reached. GH.OST was the name of one of the companies purchasing the meters. Later, Keith realized that it spelled ghost. They were using this tool to communicate with ghosts. We know an electromagnetic field passed through. What generated it? Where did it come from? Don't know. But what we do know is that our instrument detected something. That's a quote directly from Keith. It will pick up a stray electromagnetic field pulse that comes from a phone, even from their pocket. So that's another quote directly from Keith. And basically, what he's telling us is that EMF detectors might not be the most reliable tool for ghost hunting,
Right.
especially if you're carrying your cell phone with you.
Absolutely. Phones in the car, people. Sorry about that. My computer made a noise.
Yeah, it sounds like, at least what we've learned so far in the other episodes in this one, is that your cell phone is not a reliable tool and it may disrupt other tools that you're using.
Absolutely.
So if you are ghost hunting, like Kyle said, leave the phone in the car. Leave your cell phone in the car.
Yeah.
All right. Galka started creating the REM pod after the tragic loss of his daughter in 2004 from a fatal car crash. He says that several days after the family had returned home from the hospital, they started experiencing strange occurrences. This is a quote directly from him. She started doing things like ringing the doorbell, changing the TV, turning lights on and off. Then one time, she came into my room and I felt her sit on the edge of the bed.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Mm-hmm. But you can see how these experiences, especially after such a tragic loss, made him want more, like to communicate, like, I know you're here.
Motivation.
Right? So Galka was inspired by these experiences to create devices that he believed would allow him and others to communicate with spirits. Galka owned a company that developed sensors and other detection devices for a variety of industries. His devices could detect humidity for museums, and they had to be precise. So that's just a little bit of his background when it comes to developing tools of any nature. He kind of knew what he was doing already because he was working with this type of stuff already. Galka publicized his new invention and caught the attention of Ghost Adventures.
Of course. Ugh.
I know. I always forget his name. I just know
Zach Baggins.
Baggins. Okay.
Zach Bagans.
Oh, it's
but
Baggins.
I call him Zach Baggins because of Lord of the Rings. I like it.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's funny.
Yeah. Well, he's just so disrespectful to spirits. I feel like
he is. I feel like he's pompous. I feel like he's smug.
Yeah.
I think that he is very condescending towards spirit and the people around him that he works with.
Okay. I haven't seen him interact with living people very much, just the like the camera people, but like I do know that one of his cameramen became ill.
Yeah.
And he just was like,
whatever.
Keep going.
Yeah.
So they filmed an episode on what would have been Melissa's birthday.
Melissa.
That's the daughter.
The daughter.
Yes. I guess I didn't give you her name. Nope. Yes, that's the daughter. So they filmed an episode on what would have been Melissa's birthday in the family home. Her parents made a cake that spelled out Melissa on top. Lost my page.
That's sad.
When they cut the cake, that is when the activity seemed to pick up. This episode is one of those with the most spectral evidence that Ghost Adventures claims. It's the most spectral evidence was captured during this episode. In her bedroom, Melissa's mother asks if she has made friends, where you can clearly hear a male voice respond, "What up?" So one of her friends is with her, I guess, that she's made on the other side. Gary Galka's device has a retractable antenna and functions similar to a theremin. Do you know what a theremin is?
I love theremin. I want a theremin. I would love to have a theremin. I think that they are the most interesting, intricate, weird, very eclectic instruments I've ever seen.
Okay. Well, for those of you who might not know, the theremin is an electronic musical instrument played without physical contact.
Mm-hmm.
It operates by manipulating electromagnetic fields with the player's hands to control pitch and volume. It uses two antennas, where the REM pod uses one. And the antennas act as capacitors, where the distance of the hand from the antenna changes the. I can't read my handwriting. Sorry. Oh, it's capacitance. That's a word that I don't use very often. Which means the ability to store electric charge. That's why I looked it up because I was like, "What's this word?"
Right.
If I don't know, someone else might not know. So,
Yeah.
It alters the frequency of radio frequency oscillators. So, the way the theremin works is your hand moves between the electromagnetic fields, producing different tones and pitches, and the volume can even change based on where your hand is in the field.
Yeah.
So the way the REM pod works is it creates its own electromagnetic field in a 360-degree space around the device. And it reacts as the field is broken, similar to a theremin. The lights and sounds vary based on the proximity. So because the theremin has two antennae and the REM pod has one, the lights kind of react as opposed to volume changes. It's more pitch, and then you get the lights.
Yeah.
Okay. So when the device is in use, the spirits are encouraged to interact with the device to answer questions. In the event of Melissa Galkin, they chose yes or no questions. REM pods still get false positives, however, from common electronics such as cell phones, walkie-talkies, and electrical wiring. So that means you cannot wear a pager either.
No.
And walkie-talkies are out.
Right.
So stick together. I mean, if you've ever seen a horror movie, it's when you split up that the problems happen.
Yeah.
So stick together. If you're ghost hunting, you should be ghost hunting in a group, not alone.
Right.
Never ghost hunt alone.
Don't do that.
REM pods are better for real-time trigger monitoring, while EMF meters detect broad environmental shifts. So those are the two similar instruments, and the REM pod was the improvement upon it.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it is a shorter episode because there isn't that much information, but I thought the history of
that's what I struggled with the spirit box, is because there wasn't a lot of information on it. So I wanted to group other things into it to try and make the conversation a little longer, because I mean, there's a lot of gadgets out there. There's a lot of paranormal instruments. It's just a matter of picking, like, we chose specific ones and dove into those, but most popular
right now.
Yeah.
Where a lot of them have their history in different types of practices.
Yes.
And our devices, at least the REM pod, for example, only has 15 years.
Yeah,
been existing.
Spirit Box was, I don't even remember what year the guy Frank.
They've only been around since like the 2000s.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they haven't been around for very long. They are what's popular now. In 20.
That's why I'm looking forward to next week, because next week's going to be like the olden tools. Yes. Like, I love that. I'm excited for that.
Definitely. Because there should be a lot more information for that. But yeah, with the newer tools, it's technology, and technology is always changing and shifting. And EMF detectors were invented in 2004, and then just 8 years later? No, 7 years later, the REM pod was invented.
So, soon the REM pod will be obsolete, and something else will be in its place.
Yeah, 100%. That's what happens with technology. So,
I mean, just look at our cell phones. 10 years ago, look at the phones we were using compared to what we're using now.
Yeah, definitely. We have a computer in our pocket now.
Yeah.
10 years ago, if you wanted a computer in your pocket, it was called BlackBerry.
Yeah. You just had a keyboard in your pocket, if anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so
But
sorry it is a shorter episode, but I thought it was a really interesting story.
we're at 15 minutes and we haven't even done our outro. I think we're fine.
Okay. All right. So remember, come back next week for another episode. We record and post every week Thursday evenings. So one of our listeners calls Thursday podcast day because apparently we're not the only one of her podcasts that is on Thursdays. So
nice.
She has one in the morning and then she has us in the evening.
Cool.
But every Thursday we will post our new episode, and remember, trust no one.
Question everything. And if you want to send us, please send us. Start sending us. Make your stories known. Yes. And send us your stories at suspectionpod@outlook.com so we can read them on the podcast. We would love to hear any of your dark, spooky, historical encounters, anything that you like, any historical dark history that you are interested in that we haven't covered. Maybe just suggest it and we'll pop it in an episode or something.
Yeah.
So just reach us at suspectionpod@outlook.com. And we also have an Instagram.
Yes, our Instagram is at suspectionpod. In the bio, you will find links for our our Spotify, our YouTube, and our Amazon Music. And we also have a Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
This month's Patreon episode will be on J. Edgar Hoover. And the creation of the conspiracies surrounding and the what's it called when someone does something they're not supposed to, of the FBI. Corruption of the FBI.
Yes.
Mostly J. Edgar Hoover and how he was, but he was the guy that started it all.
Yep. So. I'm excited to hear it. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.